Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about the trending Tableau interview questions that have been, very frequently being asked in the last, maybe 4 to 5 months. So this video is specifically for those who are, continuously attending interviews and or those who are planning to attend interviews. So this will give you a gist of what are the commonly asked questions these days. Okay, because the trend tends to change, every quarter or by month because the questions become common and also I've collected this and you can go through all of the questions that we are discussing in this video. At least you can expect to 5 to 6 questions from this questions that we have for sure. Okay, and I'm sure many might have already faced these kind of questions in their interviews. So without wasting much time, let us get started. So the first question that is being frequently asked and very frequently commented in our channel as well as like what is your daily activities, what do we need to tell in this. So this has been something that recruiter or interviewer will definitely ask you because they want to know your style of working or what kind of responsibilities you have here. So you can tell him that you connect with clients to get the requirement. Okay, you have regular stand-ups to update. Okay, or you have brainstorming sessions to discuss on the tasks that are not getting completed or something that are getting stuck like this. You can talk about them. You can tell that you will be working on multiple documentation and all, and you are, if you are a single resource, you can tell that you are a single resource in that project. Or if there are a couple of resources or 2 to 3 resources, then you can tell that the work is being shared uh, within the team, like there are two developers like that, so that the interviewer will know that how many developers are there and how many senior developers are there like that. So based on experience level that you are mentioning in that, you can categorize that. Like maybe I would suggest, like maybe in the first project you can tell that I've started as a junior level. Okay, where you are just supporting them, and then slowly, like with the experience that you have gained in working with the project, you can tell that I have single-handedly deployed project right from development to testing to migration all and production support. All this you have done in your activity. So this will give him some understanding that okay, this guy knows all the in and around the project cycle. Okay, so whenever you are answering this kind of question, you can give him your exposure for sure. So you need to cover all the points from project cycle as well, like from development to testing to migration to production. Okay, so by telling this, you can have some extra points scored for yourself. Next is explain your role while going to different level of handling with the projects. So each project will be different. Okay, suppose if it is a production project or a support project, your role will be different. Development project, your role will be different. Okay, or migration project, role will be different. Okay, so you have to specifically tell what you have done in each project. Suppose in support project, you can tell that my role was very limited, and my role was to take care of the existing reports that are there in the server, see them they are successfully running in and around, and if there are any job failures, I have to take care of them. If there are any minor enhancements, you have to take care of that. Or if there are any cosmetic changes to the reports, you have to take care of that. Some like they might want to remove some of the worksheets or some of the dashboards from that, or they might want to change the chart type of that. So all of, if are handling data issues, all of this you have to tell if you are in support project. So these are the some of the tasks that we get when we are in support project. When we are talking about development, it is, 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% 100% like end to end, how we get requirement, okay, how we get confirmation on that, and how we start development. And if there are any issues, again we go back to client and get clarification on them, and then we do testing on that, and after that we migrate to different environments based on the confirmation we receive. It is not like that in a single go we receive confirmation to migrate to all of the environments at once. It is not like that. So first you have to migrate it to dev, or sorry, if development is our environment. So to QA you will migrate first. So in QA your report will be tested. If it is fine, then you will be asked to move to pre-prod if there is such kind of environment. Again in pre-prod, your report will be tested, and if it is fine, again you will get approval to move it to prod. So like every level or in every environment that you are moving, your report needs to be tested by testing team. Only then you can move it to different environments. Okay, so remember this point, it is very important point. Okay, the same is for migration project. So migration project is specifically to migrate reports from one project to another project, or one environment to another environment. So if it is a migration project, maybe you are migration from development to maybe you are upgrading from Teradata to Snowflake. So that is a migration project. Okay. So you have to take care of that. So their responsibility is working on your sequels. Like you have to make sure whatever the query is there in SQL is working in after Snowflake as well. All the calculations that you have written using your Teradata as a source, it is working. And so basically what we need to do is we need to check the code compatibility here whenever you are working in the migration project, and you have to make sure the result of before and after are matching in your migration project. Okay, so don't forget, these are very important and key points for us. So this will be asked in multiple interviews, I'm telling at least you can expect 1 to 2 questions on this. Okay, next is if you download Tableau server desktop and Tableau public, what are the advantages of using that different application? So each has their own specifications. So Tableau server is to see our reports and to maintain that. Tableau desktop is for development. Tableau public is again to have our public presence, like how what kind of dashboards we are preparing. If at all you want to showcase that skill, then you can use your Tableau public. So these are the advantages of the different applications. So at least make sure you know what is the purpose of each of these applications that we have. The more you know, the better it is. Okay, so by now I'm expecting you know all of these products and the use cases of this. So next is if the original data is getting modified, what happens to extract and live? One of the very important questions that we need to understand. Okay, so whenever original data is getting updated in live connection, the data will get updated. That is the definition, right? In so he's asking to explain both in live and extract. So in live connection, as and when the data is getting updated, dashboard will also get updated. Whereas in extract, report, even if the data is getting updated in the source, dashboard will show latest data only after refresh is done. So you need to remember this point. Okay, and maybe you can tell this whenever he is asking you the difference. So again, this there might be some use cases on this in real time as well. Like the latest data is not showing on the dashboard. So customer can come back to you and say that, okay, our latest data is not visible on the dashboard. One of the frequently faced issues by developers in real time. So now what will we do in this type of scenario? Might be the question, or he might ask you like, what are the issues you faced in real time using extract or using live connection? Then in that kind of case, you might tell them about this point. Latest data is not visible on the dashboard. What you can do. So first thing what we need to do is first point, check if data load, I mean your source data load is successfully completed or not. You have to check that first thing. So if there is any failure, so you can get this information from your database team. Okay, connect with them and ask if the refresh for the day has been successfully completed or not. If it is successfully completed, then we'll go to second step. If not, they ask them to rerun the refresh so that you get the latest data. Okay. So first step, identifying the problem, like at the source level. So if it is refreshed, second step, it is not reflecting at the Tableau level. What you need to do is check if the server job is completed successfully or not. You need to check this also. If not, you can go and rerun the job for the report. So what will happen? Again, it will rerun the job from the server for that particular report. And after that, again, you can check, you know, if it is showing latest data or not. And you can also check the last run date or last refreshed date for the job. That will also give you some heads up that when was the last refresh done and or not. So again, this is very, 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 very important. Okay. So make sure you know this process and you remember it by heart it, because this can definitely be one of your questions in upcoming interviews as well. Okay. So don't forget. Next is Okay, so next is disadvantages of context filters. So in this kind of case, like many might know the answer for this, and many might know the answer for this. So there are two possible cases. In both the cases, what you can do is, if you are not able to give the exact cases, at least you can define what context filter is here. Okay, so tell them what is context and what is the difference. Normal filters are independent filters, whereas context filters are dependent filters. So it's like filters will tell, okay, let us work together, whereas normal filters will be working independently. Okay, so you need to remember this point. And one or two filters is fine, but having too many context filters will slow down the report. These 2 points are sufficient for you to tell them in the interview. Okay, so if not, at least tell them what is the concept of context filters. They'll be at least satisfied that at least you know what is the context filters, and then you can tell them, okay, I have not used much of context filters in my reports. I have not seen any differences that well. So that way also you can answer this question, because it is little scenario based question. Some might have faced it, some might have not faced it. So you can simply tell that in my project I have used only maybe one context filter or two context filter, and I didn't see much of an impact on the filters. But maybe I have read it somewhere that having too many context filters will slow down the report, but I have personally never faced that. So this kind of answer you can definitely give to convince the interviewer. Okay, so again, remember this point. So who will assign the license type to a particular user or developer? So generally, this differs from the process to get license differs from company to company. So in some companies, you will have a standard practice to raise a ticket to get the license. And if he is talking about the server user and the license type, you need admin Tableau. Admin will take care of having the privileges to grant you the access. So remember it. If it is the server user the interviewer is talking about, then Tableau admin will take care of that. Again, you will get specific information for each of the user, like what should be the permission level for each of them. So based on that, the permissions will be granted to that each of that. Okay. So again, next is one important question that we might have definitely faced. Explain your previous project. So okay. So always, like whatever the project that you are currently working, or any project that you take, remember at least the core concept of that you have written in the resume. because you might get this kind of question in the interview. And if you don't answer it well, maybe they'll directly seize it, because they expect at least you to speak at least 5 to 10 minutes on this topic. Okay, so make sure you know at least what kind of reports you have prepared. Okay, so how was the requirement given? Why did you choose that? So have a story prepared for each of the projects. So write it somewhere in the book. Because some interviews are not like this is not much common, but you might get it. Okay. So next is, while migration, what are the tools will be coming into the picture? Okay. Again, it is dependent on it is very different from company to company and team to team. So some companies directly migrate, okay, without using any external or third party tools, and some companies use migration tools to migrate reports, or in some companies they migrate it through a different process. So it depends. We can go with the standard process of migration, like using Tableau server, we migrate without using any external tools. So you can tell them, I haven't used any external tools to migrate, but I'm willing to learn, and this is how we have migrated. So we can talk about our the process that we have discussed here in the second question. Okay, but yes, it is also very important because most of the times interviewers focus on this type of question. So learn about or remember this question. Okay, next is increment, refresh, and all rows. Okay, so whenever we are creating an extract, there is an option called as increment, refresh, and all rows. So there is an option in that. So if I go here, and maybe if I connect it to extract here, click on edit, and you see increment number of rows, all rows, or incremental by refresh, incremental refresh. So all rows means what happens is, whenever our Tableau report is scheduled to refresh, it will bring in all the rows here. So it will simply, it is like removing the existing data and again recreating the extract. Whereas incremental refresh means only the new records that are available. It is simply like A minus B, it will do, or B minus A. So based on one specific column that you are specifying. So mostly it will be like your date fields, or your the order IDs, that kind of information it will be there. So again you need to identify what is that column that is unique in your database, and based on that you can specify that here. So based on that it will see what is available and what is not available, and it will try to get in only new data. So that point we can talk about in this incremental refresh and all rows. Okay. So next is again tree map and heat map, one commonly asked question. I have faced this multiple times. Tree map and heat map. Let us see how many of you can answer. So if you know what is the difference between these two, comment it in the comment section. If not, I'll tell you. Okay. Explain in SQL Server what type of commands will be used. So mostly from developers perspective, we will be using select queries only most of the times. Okay, we will not be having access to create tables or delete some data or update some data. So we have to send our queries to DBS or DB admins who has access to them. They will be running those update commands or delete commands like that. Okay, so for us from developers perspective, mostly it will be select command only. Okay. So next is assume referential integrity. So assume referential integrity is nothing but telling Tableau that there is, then you can at least expect one common column or data for the field that you are specifying that. Okay. So like one possible row for each of them. So that kind of information you can tell them. So that is assume referential integrity. Now how to share dashboard in Tableau server. So simply once we publish our report, like if I go to our dashboard here, and if I click on this server, first step is we need to sign in, and then we'll click on this publish workbook to publish it. After that, once we go to server, we will have option to share the workbook. Okay, so we have a Tableau playlist of server. You can watch them if you are new to Tableau server. That will help you in giving some heads up to this. Okay. Again, one important question here. Next is, what is the difference between OLTP and OLAP? OLTP means it is like transaction processing system, and AP means analytical processing system. Okay, you need to remember this. LOD, how does select, how do one decide that we need to use LOD in that kind of cases? So generally, most of the time, what happens is we tend to solve the scenarios using our normal if cases or something like that. But when we are getting data issues or our level of data is causing issues us, and there is a data mismatch, we go for LOD expressions because it gives us the control of data granularity and it gives us the correct results. Okay, so you can tell them this point. Okay, explain your real time. So if at all you have used any in your real time, you can talk about that. If not, have 1 to 2 scenarios that help you understand LOD. You can talk about them in LODs. So I think we have seen in last video scenarios of LODs. Maybe you can go through that video and you can talk about that. So what is KPI? Again, most of the times we get this question, what is KPI? So those who are working in real time, they might answer this question in a very confident manner. But those who are new to this and who are learning, then for them it is very tough. KPI is nothing but, if by definition, if I talk, it is key performance indicator. So any metric that you are defining, or you are writing some logic or calculation to define some value, like your year over year growth, or your YTD calculation, or your total sales for the month, or the percentage improvement from the previous month. So these are all examples of key performance indicators, or they act like key metric. Okay, so you can explain him like this in your interview, and you can tell them what kind of metrics you have prepared. You can tell them, I've created YTD, I have created, or MTD you have created, or percentage growth you have created, or percentage difference you have created. So these are the some of the most commonly used metrics in real time. Okay, so next is, a report or dashboard is given for you for performance tuning. What will you do? Again, this is a very important question. Okay, so let me know if at all you want me to make a separate video on this. I'll tell you how to read the performance recording workbook and how to analyze where the problem is. Do comment it in a comment section, and based on that I will decide. Okay, so let us see. We have prepared the dashboard and you want to copy the dashboard and paste it in other instance of Tableau. Is it possible? So that was the question. So assume the question is like a very scenario based question here. We have already created a dashboard and they want to copy that dashboard and use it in another report basically. Yes, it is possible. We can directly, suppose I want to use this in another instance, this part only. So I can simply click on this and click on export. Only this part will be exported. And again, I can go to my file part and I can click on this import workbook option. Where is it? Yeah, here, import workbook. So you can go to your new workbook and click on import, and it will be directly imported to your new workbook. This point you can definitely tell for this question. Okay, so next is, can you pick a schedule from Tableau desktop? I think from Tableau desktop scheduling is not possible. Only from server we can schedule. So how to create 100 users? So now first thing is, this is a server level responsibility. So if you have mentioned that you have server exposure, then you need to tell. If not, you can tell that I have not worked on creating users. So again, if at all you want to know how to create users and structure of the file, you can refer to my Tableau server playlist that I will paste it in the description box. If not, if not, the simple way of answering is, when you go to server, you will have under the explore option, you will have an option called as add users button there. Okay, so under that you have to click on add users, and you can add it from two ways, like email or from file. So if there are few users, like say 2 to 3 users are there or one user is there, then you can simply enter their email address and click on add user and then add him to whatever the group you want. But suppose if there are 100 users, then you can directly click on import from file option. So you need to create a file. So that is comma delimiter. So you can enter all the email addresses followed by comma. So once you click on import file, this option, it will ask you to choose the location where the file is. Just go to that location and select the file and click on import. All the users will be automatically imported. Okay. So again, one complex dashboard you have created. I think many of you has faced this question. Okay, if you have ever come across this question, do comment in the comment section. Let us see. So whatever it be, like one complex question or your last previous project or explain your current project, for all of this question, same answer here. Okay, last project or current project or explain a project. We can definitely talk about this because that is the only project that we have entered in our resume, and you can tell them. So if not, if you have worked on multiple projects, you can tell them, what is complex or uh, where the challenges you faced. You can talk about them, or how did you convince user or client to use the dashboard that you have designed. So you can talk about that also in this question. Next is how to schedule. So once you go to once I click on publish here, server will get an option. So from there also we can schedule, or after going to server there is an option to schedule reports. We can schedule it from there also. Okay. So from server we can schedule reports. Again, I'll paste my the server playlist button. You can check that. In that I have shown how we can schedule reports. So what to do if I want to complete one schedule in 5 minutes or any particular periodic time. So there are some predefined slots or predefined times and frequencies that are available, and from that we can definitely choose whatever we want. If any customization options are you want to run, maybe you can use it using tab command, or you can definitely get in touch with the Tableau admin who can help you in scheduling your report. Okay. So again, what is the mechanism of extract? So this is schedule extract. You will create and publish it to the server and schedule it, and it will run on the time that you have specified, and extract will be created. So how to use bin? Again, one very commonly asked question. So again, next question is what is window function? So there are some window functions which are yet powerful functions, like window sum and also if at all you have used, you can tell them that you have used window functions. If not, you can tell them that I have not used window functions, but there are this kind of functions like window sum, window average and all. So you can talk about that. So basically it depends on the offset value here. Like window means the range that you are specifying. You can remember it like this. Okay, window means the range that is available in your report. On top of that, the total sum or average, like that. Okay, so that is about window function. And next is, as we work in many connections, how can we find a particular connection or a particular thing that got failure? So I think the here the question is, whenever in real time we connect it to multiple databases or tables and create a dashboard. So sometimes only in one sheet you might have issues, or in one only in one area you might have issues. So how do you find? So generally, whenever any issues happen to a worksheet, suppose table A using table 1, you have created one worksheet, and this worksheet you have used in the dashboard. So in your dashboard, you have reports which are connected, which are created by connecting to table 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. Everything is working and only one is failing, means this will become blank. This will not show any value. Now when it is not showing any value, you need to go to that worksheet and see why it is not showing any value. So when you go to this worksheet and you click on this, you will see that it is empty. Just click on that and click on the refresh button. You will know if there are any issues, and based on the error message, you can try to fix that. Okay, so I think that's it from my side in this video. These are very important questions. Do not ignore. Definitely you will get at least 4 to 5 questions, or if your luck is good, you'll get all of the questions from this one. Okay, so that's it from my side in this video. Hope we'll catch you in the next video. Till then, have a good day and bye bye.